Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another YouTube video today. Hopefully I'll try to keep this one quick because I was just kind of sitting here chilling in my room and I wanted to make a video about this yesterday, but I kind of thought, you know what, maybe I shouldn't, but I decided I will. Sony has announced a new portable console, if you really want to call it a console. I don't even know what you want to consider it. If you haven't seen it, go read about it. The way they're making it sound is that it's basically a pure streaming device, and that sucks, if you ask me. Now, the PlayStation infrastructure is starting to get very complicated. You have to spend hundreds of dollars to get a PlayStation 5, hundreds of dollars to get a VR, now probably hundreds of dollars to get whatever this device is going to be. And while all that is optional, yes, I completely understand. It's just like buying anything. You don't have to get a smartwatch with your phone, and you don't have to get a tablet, but most people like to go along with the same infrastructure. However, I will probably be passing on this. I will probably talk more about it as it gets, more information comes out on it or whatever, but I'm not interested in this mostly just because of the fact that it is a streaming device, which means that it's basically like if I had a Switch, right? And all the Switch did was connect to the Wii U to send the signal out further. That's it. So just imagine that, okay? You're in your household, you spent hundreds of dollars on this portable device, and the only difference between it and the PlayStation 5 is the fact that you can play it in your house. You can play it anywhere with a solid Wi-Fi, I guess, because but you see, if that's the case, I might as well just do that on my phone. See that's the big difference, and the reason why I'll pass on it is because I can already do that. I pull out my iPad, I go to the PlayStation Remote app, I sync the PlayStation controller, and I can connect to my PS4 or my PS5 and play a game on a bigger screen than 8 inches. Now, does it have a use? Yes, it will have the use for those that maybe don't want to necessarily trust their children. Like, hey, maybe I don't want to trust my child with the PlayStation 5 and his own controller, but maybe I can trust him with this, and I can get it to him, and he can just be connected to his room, he can connect to the PS5, and he can remote play in. Okay, that's cool, but is that really as useful as what I can already do now? Because all he's got to do is just download the PS Remote app on his phone and connect a PS4 controller. Or connect a Bluetooth controller, like the Ghoulie Kit one that I have. Or just an Xbox controller. And I'm sure it will work. So what is the point of spending hundreds of dollars on this again when I can just go off and spend like $60 or $70 on a controller and just have him download the app? That's the reason why I think I'm going to pass on it. But what are your thoughts about this accessory? I consider it to be an accessory. Most people are saying it's a handheld. I don't think it's a handheld. See, a handheld, in my book, has to play its own games. Like the Vita was a handheld. The Vita was a handheld. It played its own games. Uncharted, Golden Abyss, Gravity Rush. There were, I think it was... District 9, no, the District, I think. I don't know what the game was. There was some shooter on it. But it had its own original games, like Tearaway, that you played on the Vita by itself. And then if you wanted to, you could remote into the PS3 or the PS4 and do remote play with it. Or use the Vita as a controller. There was that option. Now, if that is the option for this, where, hey, this thing can connect and be its own controller, maybe, but then you're looking at spending possibly more than $100 to just get a fancy new PlayStation 5 controller when you can just spend $60 and get one. Or again, just use your laptop and a PS4 controller and get a bigger screen and do the exact same thing. So, I mean, it's just... I'm just saying that the option is already out there. I mean, imagine if they just did that with the Switch, but in reverse, they're just like, hey, Yeah, just take the Switch, download this app, and sync your Joy-Cons to it, and here you go. You can now play Switch games on the go through your cellular connection. Okay, that's sort of how this feels. Yeah, it'd be a bigger deal to do that, but you can only take the Switch on the go with you. And it's a bigger screen than most cell phones are, so why in the heck would I download an app and go off of a spotty cellular connection sometimes, depending upon the carrier that you're with, just to play Switch games that I can just already play on the Switch on the go? You know, or again, if we did it in the concept of the Wii U, because the Wii U already did this, it was just baked into the hardware already. But instead, they're just like, yeah, here's a, you know, the Switch is just a way to play Wii U games that are connected to the same Wi-Fi network anywhere in the house. Because that seems what this is. It's like, hey, you can connect anywhere where you can connect to Wi-Fi and stream using the remote app. Not play games natively on it. Not download games natively to it. That would be great. That probably would be something different. But if you're just going to stream, that doesn't seem like it's worth it. Now again, maybe more information will come out since the article that I read, and I'll see if I can find the article, link it in the description. I'll try to remember to do that. But if all this is just a streaming device, I would rather you've done that with the Vita. Come up with an update that let it work with the PS5 as a remote option. And you can just do that with your cell phone or your tablet now anyways, or even your laptop. And they're probably, depending on how you're using them, just as portable. I know with the phone, it's even more portable than carrying around an 8-inch screen accessory. But that's my 2 cents on it, of course. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's something that is like a WTF moment for Sony? What is up with this? What's going on? Do you think it's going to be a good idea? Do you think that this is probably the groundwork for something even bigger? Like this is just testing the waters, and if this is successful, we'll get what is essentially the PSP3, or, you know, whatever you want to look at it. Maybe. Only time will tell. But I think that the writing is on the wall ever since the Vita, that Sony's pretty much done with portables. And I'm just going to treat this as an accessory, unless I'm proven wrong otherwise. Which I hope that I am, because I wouldn't mind buying one. But it's got to be cost efficient. You know, it's got to be able to be worth the cost of purchasing one. And it's got to be able to deliver something that I cannot get through just simply getting a little clip that connects my PlayStation controller to my phone and lets me do the exact same thing. But only time will tell. That's my 2 cents on this, guys. I'm sorry that it took well over 8 minutes. I thought it was going to be a 5-minute video, but apparently I babbled on for a little bit. I appreciate it if you do like the video. That way I know that you like this kind of content, want to see more of it. And feel free to subscribe and leave a comment if you want. But of course, there's no pressure for me because I'm pretty laid back like that. But I hope that you guys have a fantastic weekend. I have something interesting planned on next week if I can get OBS to work on my Mac, because it's an older Mac, so good luck with that. But if I can get it to work or figure out some way to do it, I have an interesting idea for a video that will hopefully be in the works. If not, possibly working on another Zelda theory. A lot of stuff that might come to fruition, but who knows, between now and then, between here and Monday when I plan to do the video, something else might come up that I feel is more newsworthy than that, and I might forget even half the stuff that I'm thinking right now. But you can feel free to come along and join me on the journey. If you do subscribe, of course, you can always leave a notification in the bell to let you know when I do drop a new video. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, because I'm sure taking up more than enough of your time, and I don't want to continue to bore you and run around in circles. So, have a good one, everyone. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me on Retro Geek Gaming. Let's go retro.